Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another episode of the Third Fleet Podcast. This is episode 53, and this is our 1 year special, kind of. The 1 year has already kind of went and gone, but how you doing, Gaijin?
I'm doing good. Yes, our first year anniversary was like on what, December 10th?
It was supposed to be this, December 10th for the first episode, but it's kind of weird because I was wondering, should we celebrate it when we hit the actual date or when we hit the number of podcast weeks, which wouldn't be for like another 3 episodes or something like that, because supposedly each year has like 56 weeks or whatever, and then we'd have to do 56 episodes before you could consider it a year.
Oh no, this is a belated 1 year.
Okay,
belated 1 year anniversary.
Belated 1 year anniversary special, which is coming right off the heels of like holidays and stuff, which has been a very chaotic time for both of us. It's been very hard to like schedule stuff, but we're like, we got to give them one before the end of the year to send everybody off into 2022 in good spirits. Dude, there were actually tons and tons of people that were tagging us when they did the whatchamacallit, what's the name of that? God, I'm drawing a blank now. Spotify, the Spotify Wrapped stuff. Tons of people tagged us on Twitter saying like, "Oh, this is like the most listened to podcast all year."
Oh, nice.
I was mega happy. You don't remember that because you were tagged in those posts as well.
My memory is soft these days. It's been, like you said, the holiday season is not necessarily. It's a good time to relax, but it's also a good time to be in a frenzy trying to wrap things up and family stuff and health stuff and whatever's not.
But yeah, every post that I saw, at one point, some people probably got upset with me because I was retweeting every single time that I was tagged in one of those. I was like, "We're the best podcast." Yeah, just like retweet that. It's mostly because I was just super happy because I've always wanted to, do a podcast, and this was like straight up dream. This podcast right here.
I'm like the guest who won't leave the room. Because
guest?
I have a peer.
You're not a guest. Listen. Let me make one thing perfectly clear. You're not a guest. You're not even a co-host. You're just another host. Like that's it.
I know,
the host and the host. 2 hosts.
That was my lead into. I was going to give you a little trivia, guys. Not trivia, but a little special history bit from the Third Fleet Podcast, which was, how did it all start? And I am not assertive. You kidding me? It was Rurikhan. And I have up here the very first message you sent me, and I found it really funny, actually, in retrospect.
I actually don't remember that message. But
so you slid into my DMs on Twitter.
Yeah, I did.
I had slid into your stream several times, and we started a small dialogue, and then I think we were following each other on Twitter. You went in there, and you said, "Hey, Gaijin, I'm thinking about doing a show on YouTube, podcast style, just having a conversation with other hunters. I'd love to have you on as my first guest." Then you said, "Ideally, I think it would be like 1 hour, maybe 90 minutes. I realize it'll take some effort due to time zones, but, I think it would be really fun. Let me know." And that was on December 6th, and just a few days later, we recorded the first episode, and then we ended up talking for like 2 hours after or before it, and then I proposed, I was like, "Why would we make this a one-off thing? Why don't we just make it a permanent?" You're like, "Yeah."
It's like, here's the thing though. Before I approached you, I was like, "Dude, it'd be so good if Gaijin would want to do this as like a regular thing." But I didn't want to pitch that off the bat because it's a huge ask. You're just like, "Hey, you want to do this podcast with me like forever?" And you're just like, "Whoa, sir, I don't even know you." What do you mean? So I was like, let's just have him on for like 1 episode, and then I can try to get
only
other people.
1 hour, maybe 90 minutes. Have we ever gotten near that?
Yes, we got a couple of times. There's a couple of ones that are a little bit shorter. But the funny thing was, we started talking because we talked before. Because like I sent you a message, which was around the time that we're recording right now. And you instantly replied, and then we got on Discord, and you're like, "Oh, I just want to, let's just chat on Discord. I don't want to type now." Like, that works for me. We chatted for like 2 hours instantly. Like that in of itself could almost be fun. And it was funny because that conversation was basically both of us going, no, we shouldn't talk about this. We need to save that for the podcast. It's like, yeah, let's talk about this and that, but not this, because this is for the podcast.
It just felt right. When you know. So congratulations, my friend, on a year. And to me, as I tweeted, the friendship is more than anything, and the podcast is just bonus. The fact that we can chilling out and talking to a friend and other people find it entertaining, that's just icing on the cake. So, besides, I don't do any of the production work on this. Like, I don't do the editing, I don't do the uploading, the
editing
anything.
is
you do
so
all
hard.
That.
You have no idea.
I know.
The first episode was kind of hard though. The editing on the first episode. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I was coughing like an ass.
Yeah, you were coughing, and I was like, okay, this is the first episode. I got to make sure I don't think I cleaned up the whole episode. But like, if you guys go and you like listen to the first episode, like there was a ton. Like, if you hear Gaijin cough, it means that I failed. But I rewatched that thing over and over, and I was dude, I was trying to identify like the waveform of your coughing sound to try and look for it.
Terminated, right?
I
don't know why I had a bad cough back then. I usually don't cough.
But for a couple of episodes you did. But I don't know. I think I did something which made it easier for me to identify it. And I did that for like 3 episodes. And then people were like, Rurikhan, stop. Because I was telling people, oh my God, I'm just having so much trouble. And people were like, just stop. Don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll stop. Then we had there was also the episode with Bandino where he had those weird audio things that would happen every now and then. You remember that? Like, there was one time where he said something and like Discord just like peaked for no reason. I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I got to fix that in the thing. And as I was fixing it, there was also a lot of pauses. So I started removing pauses, and then the Discord avatars were out of sync, and I was like, oh, there's no way to like fix this. I'm screwed. Yeah. And so I was like,
you gave up, right?
Guys, I can't fix the avatar animations. They're like, we don't care. I was like, okay, fine. I guess I recorded like 30 minutes of Astera, like as a background. And then I just put pictures on top of that with no animation at all. And that was, there's no animation in the pictures, but there's animation in the background. And someone went through the trouble of actually watching that, and they found the looping point. And they pointed out, you thought I was going to miss this, didn't you? And I was, God damn, dude, why?
So I have a favor to ask of you for this podcast and everyone going forward. Don't lean your head to the left or right or downward.
Me?
Yeah.
Don't lean my head to the left or right or... Oh.
I don't want to see it.
So for those of you in the audio version, Gaijin is mentioning my beautiful new chair, which it was actually a gift from my parents. I was not expecting it at all. Like,
it means they hate you.
Yeah. It was like... I was when we were opening presents on Christmas Eve, I was like, I opened this box. It just has like a sheet of paper in it, and there's printed on it, there's a chair already assembled in the office. And I was like, oh, I got a new chair. And Gaijin doesn't like it because, for those of you that can't see it, you're on the audio, it's like a PlayStation branded chair. And I was like, oh, people are going to think I'm like sponsored by PlayStation, which I'm not. But it's a comfortable chair. It's much more comfortable than the other chairs I had around here. So it's like, hey, I'll take it.
That is good. That was nice of them.
But okay, I'll avoid moving my head too much so that it doesn't reveal the Sony branding, because that's going to trigger you.
No, it's an ongoing joke, I guess, at this point. Because it's funny because for the last, 500 hours of gaming have been mostly on Sony products for me.
Yep.
So it's kind of funny that... I can't really complain anymore. Well, I can, and I will, but you know.
I still find
I play games, not consoles, right?
I still find it extremely funny that you buy a PlayStation 5, you don't play Demon's Souls, you don't actually play any PlayStation 5 games that I'm aware of.
I just bought it to have it.
You just play Toukiden
because I know eventually I'll need it. And now I'm like, oh, Toukiden Kiwami's on there? Hell yeah! And I've already tanked 110 hours on that in a few weeks.
Damn.
Yeah, playing that hardcore.
So how's the Toukiden journey been? Because I've never finished Toukiden. So that's what you've been doing pretty much during the break. You've been playing Toukiden most of the time.
Yeah, like basically 5-6 hours a day. just blazing through it. I did the whole story mode. I didn't play any online because I mean it's I don't know how many 7 years old game. There's no one online playing.
Are the servers even live though? They probably are.
Servers are live. Yeah.
Okay.
Koei Tecmo's not cheap asses like Sony pulling the plug on a game that people are playing.
How long did the Soul Sacrifice servers last? When did that?
7.5 years.
7.5 years. Okay, give them like 6 months. They'll fix that problem real fast.
No, because this is actually not Sony servers. This is Koei Tecmo servers, because they have something on here which was surprising to me. Before they even had it integrated, you don't have to have PlayStation Plus. They have data sharing already integrated in the game. Cross saves. It's pretty sweet. You just hit the upload and it uploads your data, and then if I'm on the Vita because I want to play in bed, I just go over to the data and I hit download and boom, I'm on. That's awesome.
There's a lot of Vita games. You don't you remember the name that technology had? It was called transfarring by Hideo Kojima. I remember when Hideo Kojima presented that as like one of the most revolutionary things you could possibly do. We're using this feature. It's going to be called transfarring. It's like, what? You mean upload something to a server and then download it? That sounds like some really advanced stuff, man. And then, just a lot of games just did it. I don't know if this, because here's the thing though. I did see the Kojima video before I actually saw the feature implemented onto stuff. So people were just like, that sounds like a good idea. But at the time, I think it was the PSP that they were using, not the Vita, because I don't think the Vita was out by then. But a lot of Vita games used it. Like I remember Dragon's Dogma had the same thing. You could upload your data and then download it onto the console. They did the same thing for Toukiden Kiwami, because I use that system.
Yeah, Kiwami's crazy. Like it was on the PSP. Then they released it on the Vita. No,
it was not. Kiwami was not on PSP.
Not Kiwami. Sorry. Toukiden Age of Demons was on PSP.
It was
Vita. Yeah, and apparently it ran really good, which was super impressive.
I thought Toukiden was only on Vita. I mean, in the West, I think in the West it probably only released on Vita. I don't think it released on PSP.
Okay. Then when you upgrade to Kiwami, which is the G rank release, like the Master Rank expansion, so to say, it carries over all your data, including exclusive DLC that was only for the original game.
Yep.
So, like, you could carry that all the way over to your Vita version. And then they release it on PS4, and that also shares and carries over all the data as well. It's really impressive. But, no, I love the game. That was... I'm using past tense. There's still stuff I want to do, but I beat the story. I did the whole online solo. The thing is, it's like Soul Sacrifice in that it gives you NPCs that are... really capable, and their stats change. This one's even better because the stats just change as you progress in the game. Mm-hmm. You don't control them. You don't have to do any work at all. And the cast of NPCs is smaller, but they're all story characters.
Here's the work you got to do. You got to pick your favorite waifu that you want to bring with you, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, well, I've got Nagi, I've got Horo, and then I don't care. Anybody else can join.
And
the thing is, like, I wouldn't even want to play with other players. You kidding me? Like, I am going out with Horo. Like, she's my girl. So her and Nagi. Like, I got to go out with them. Like, okay. I don't care if they have elements and, like, I'm facing a water and they're water. I don't care. They're characters in the story. They're really interesting characters.
And the elements in that game are actually fairly straightforward, if I remember. It's like a wheel, right?
Very... It's
like fire beats ice or something like that, and because I remember crafting one of each, and every weapon has an element, right? I remember something about that. See,
no, there is a non-elemental weapon.
Yeah, but Capcom could learn so much from that elemental damage system, dude.
Well, the thing is,
learn so much.
They treat element the same as they treat physical damage. Yeah. So if something's weak to an element, then the weapon that has the element has more physical plus element than the non-elemental weapons. It'll edge it out. But if it's not weak against it, then it won't edge it out. And so there's a balance game, right? Like the raw ones have really high affinity, so you can get some crits. But the thing is, elemental is always better if you can do it. Yeah. And making weapons is not a trivial event in the game, so it's quite a thing when you make it. And I also love how they did the thing where as you use a weapon, It just has a little like experience gauge on it.
Yeah.
And then once it's max, you just go to the blacksmith. You don't have to pay him money. You don't have to give him any items. You just say upgrade it, bing, 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 and it adds like plus 15 to every stat, and then it goes all the way up to plus 9.
But that particular system, I actually wouldn't want to see it in Monster Hunter. I think that is a Toukiden thing. But yeah, no, because like I like Monster Hunter being more about I'm gathering these materials and putting these in, and like I think it suits the stuff that Toukiden does, because you have the Mitamas, you have all of this magical stuff already established in the game.
Other stuff going on.
So it makes sense that the weapons are almost like living weapons where they accrue experience, because you put the Mitamas into the weapons, right? If I remember correctly. So it makes sense for the Mitamas to upgrade the weapons themselves.
Yeah.
And in Monster Hunter, it's much more about, I just want to get the materials, put them in the weapon. But what they definitely can learn from is that elemental damage system, which that's the way it should be. It's like you have, because there's also monsters that are elementalist, at which point elemental weapons don't really have like an edge, and elementalist weapons can kind of shine because you can crit in those monsters.
Yeah, and they even do a thing where the weapons have a type as well, so it's either like a crush, thrust, or slash.
Yeah.
And so even if you don't have the right element, if a monster is weak to crush and you're using a crush weapon, you get a little boost that way. And if you match everything, like a crush water against something you're just going to destroy it. And that game is all about breaking parts.
I don't remember.
It's pure dopamine. I swear to God.
It is.
You're just going in there smashing every part of the monster. It's so deliberate in what part you're smashing and when and how and why. And if you want the hunts to go by faster, just focus on the same part. Because once you break it, then you will just do damage directly to its HP. It doesn't matter about its shield or whatever mode it doesn't matter. And you can just blow through it if you want to. It does enough unique stuff that I think it feels like an older school like Monster Hunter Portable 3rd in terms of structure, but it's really original. And it's much more polished than the sneak preview I gave myself of God Eater Resurrection. I'm going to go back and play that, but that seemed a little more rougher.
No. It's like I said, Toukiden, in my opinion, it's like Soul Sacrifice is the best one. Toukiden comes immediately below it, and probably below that I'd put probably almost on the same level as Toukiden. I'd put like maybe Freedom Wars, but I feel like I haven't played enough Freedom Wars to really get.
Well, I heard that the end game of what you want to do in Freedom Wars is pretty much now screwed. Because apparently it required you to play with other players, and they turned off the goddamn servers on December 24th.
It was I remember it was something like, because there's a competitive element to it where in again, Freedom Wars I haven't played in ages, but I do remember it was like when I started playing it, I would actually pick like, I don't remember if it was a city or a country. I think it was a city. So I was like, okay, I'm in Lisbon. It's like you're fighting for Lisbon, and it's just like, okay, this is kind of weird, because like you're going to be fighting like much bigger cities and stuff, and it's about stealing resources from one another, and it's a little bit weird because like people are resources and you kidnap them. That's why you have those monsters. The monsters actually kidnap people. So your objective would be to you would break monster parts to free people from the monsters. So like the parts are where people are like being kept in like a jail type thing.
So bizarre, my God.
But it was really fun. It was really fun. I really liked it. But yeah. But
I mean, I bought it, so I have it. So eventually I'll get to it. But yeah, Toukiden, Kiwami, and 2 I know are structured very different. So I'm very interested to see, now that I've put in the work and I've beaten the final quest of Phase 17 and I made my, Mitama weapon, and so you guys know I'm a club user. I love the clubs so much. Oh my God. Bow and spear and Naginata are my other ones I like, but it's mainly club. I love club.
And in Kiwami, I was all about the rifle. Bang!
Nice.
Bang! Rifle was good.
But, I'll leave it there, but I'll just say that it's on PlayStation 4, which means by extension it's on PlayStation 5. And it is man, does it age well. It's fabulous. I absolutely stop that. I absolutely adore the game, and I think that if you're a fan of Monster Hunter games, especially the older ones like Generations or 4U, and you don't mind the formula being shooken up a little bit, I think it's a fantastic idea to try. The problem is I heard that the game never goes on sale, basically. Koei Tecmo just doesn't do much sales.
It's, I mean,
and the PC
digital
version is locked at 30, but I mean, the frame pacing is fantastic. So it feels, to me, it feels better and smoother than even Elden Ring felt. Like, it's just very smooth. 30.
The digital version of Kiwami, I've seen it on sale a couple of times. Usually, like in Europe, we have the sales that Sony does every now and then, which is called like Big in Japan. Usually around those times, you'll be able to find like Toukiden Kiwami. And Toukiden Kiwami was also in Plus, I think, at some point.
It is, yeah. So if it's on there right now, actually, and that's what I ended up doing was I was going to buy both.
You're talking about now. Plus and now are two different things.
Yeah, now. Fucking Sony.
Wait a minute. It's the same thing on Xbox. It's gold and it's Game Pass. It's two different things. What do you mean?
Yeah, and that's stupid too.
There you go. Okay.
They should get rid of gold.
Rurikhan the Sony pony. That's what people are going to say. And he even has the chair to match it now. There you go.
Hey, at least I can admit that even I don't like the whole idea of the split systems between the two.
Yeah, it's like, that's one of the things that I've actually noticed is that there's two. It's becoming like, you remember when people dropped cable from their TVs, right? Because Netflix is like, we have Netflix, we don't need cable anymore. And then it's like, now we have Hulu and Disney Plus and God knows how many other things. And people are like, well, this is just like cable. This is exactly why we got away from this. And I feel like gaming is also at that point. And it's been at that point for a while. It's just like a comparison that I recently did because I recently bought like a month of Game Pass and then I started, adding it up to my head and it's like, okay, so let's just look at this. I'm paying for Netflix. I'm paying for Game Pass. I'm paying for PlayStation Plus. I'm paying for Nintendo. I'm going to cancel all of these things because the only thing I've been playing is Final Fantasy XIV. I don't even need any of this. It's like I'm paying for all these services for nothing. I'm going to get rid of all of it. I'm canceling all of it. My kid hasn't even been playing.
I don't think they will, but I think if there's ever an apocalypse that happens with streaming services, or just like all you can, I call them like buffet style services, like Game Pass or Netflix or whatever, is, again, I don't think they'll do it because financially it would hurt them. But if they wanted to be user friendly, instead of baiting you into subscribing for a year for cheaper, what they would do is just make it very easy to turn it on and off. Like, okay, I want it this month. I don't want it next month. I want it gone for the next 2 months and I want it reinstated for September because that's my month to play, Summer break, give it on, But at that point, they can't actually count on revenue, and it makes it very hard for them to forecast and buy the deals that they need to do. So
I would just actually want them to. They need to unify it because here's the thing: you might be like, okay, but they're going to make less money if they unify. Yeah, you're right. The problem is there's going to be a lot of people that are going to start thinking like me, and they're going to just like outright cancel most of them. Because that I think is already happening with streaming services where people are like, okay, I'm not paying for Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, blah, blah. I might as well just pay cable again. I might as well just go back to cable. It's the same thing.
The thing is I will say this about at least Game Pass at least. The other services ditto because I never bought like television show stuff anyways. But like Game Pass basically it's like, am I going to buy 2 games a year? Yeah, just get Game Pass. It'll be cheaper.
Yeah, but it's
so it's like there's no point in canceling it.
Do you have Plus right now?
For what Plus? There's a lot of things that say whatever Plus.
I mean, do you have PlayStation Plus?
Plus? So I bought it only. I didn't have it for the longest time, and all my saves are gone because Sony are assholes and
they delete
everything the moment. Yeah, after a while, I believe they're gone because my data wasn't there. I was a Plus subscriber for a long time.
I can't turn off PlayStation Plus. There's so many saves in the cloud.
I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, or maybe I was just away for way too long. I don't know. But I bought it just so that I can transfer my saves between the PlayStation TV and the Vita for Soul Sacrifice because I was playing it literally every day on the computer and then in the bed. And I know that those memory cards are fragile, and I didn't want to keep inserting and uninserting, so I just bit down and bought a year of it.
Okay, so where are you getting this information from where these cards are fragile? Where's that coming from?
Japanese internet forums.
Because, like, I have 2 of those cards. One of them was actually given to me. This was funny. I actually asked Sony for a card. Because, you know what my argument was? I went to the guy that I knew at Sony at the time, and I just said, listen, I'm probably the only person in Portugal that is covering PlayStation Vita. I need another card. These cards are expensive. And they gave me, like, a 16 gigabyte card for free. They sent it to me. Dude, you got to do the hustle, man. It's like, look, I ain't about to pay, like, I think it was like 60 euros at the time, whatever, for 16 gigabyte card. I'm like, no, listen, bro, I'm probably the only person in Portugal covering PlayStation Vita. You got to do me a solid here. They did. They sent me a card.
No, but there's lots of Japanese forums that say that there is corruption rates on these things when you reinsert and uninsert them over and over again, and especially with the higher capacity ones like 64 and 32, apparently those can get data corruption. So like everyone's like, back your shit up. And so it's like, and Sony, because being wonderful company they are, you know what they did? You know that they have that PlayStation app, the utility app, right? So you can back it up on your computer.
Oh.
Yeah, they decided never to update that for Mac, so it just doesn't work anymore, but it works on the Windows still.
But don't you have a gaming PC that you've recently
and
removed
that's now
the keyboard
all
and mouse from?
Now that's all it's used for, is to house my soul sacrifice save data.
Listen, you want me to send you like an old video card and you could probably make bank selling that 2080 Ti that you have in there, dude? Like, you could probably, at the point that we're at right now in the market, you could sell that and buy a house, okay? You can sell your 2080 Ti.
Mine's not 2080. It's a 2070S.
Oh, I thought it was a 2080 Ti.
No, it's an RTX 2070S.
It can't be RTX. RTX is the 30 series.
Oh, 3070X, sorry.
Wait, no.
Wait, hang on a second.
No. RTX is the 20 series. Never mind. I'm messing it up. That's
RTX 2070S, 8 gigabits.
Yeah.
Bytes, whatever.
So, okay, so you can't buy a house, but you can probably put a down payment on a condo. You sell that GPU, you make a down payment on a condo. That's the GPU market that we're in right now. But it's a damn shame that all of that stuff is happening with. I did not know that those cards were that frail, because
that's what I've heard. I don't know personally.
I haven't taken any particular care with them at all. I'll take them out willy-nilly, sometimes with the console on and everything. I don't care. It's like, whatever. It's like, aren't these things built to last? Let's go. Like, so far, haven't really gotten screwed over, but who knows? Maybe I'll regret it at some point. We'll see.
Well, yeah, so I have that, and now I'm also a subscriber to PS Now. Assholes. Yeah. So no, I was going to buy, I have Toukiden Kiwami and Toukiden 2 on the Vita, physical. I bought for $5, which we were talking about, right? The problem is the moment I started playing Kiwami, I'm like, oh my God, it feels right. This feels like a warm cup of cocoa. I'm going to like this game a lot. And so I immediately thought, and it's also available on current consoles. I was like, I want to make videos on this game. And of course, I didn't make any videos as I was playing it because I just wanted to enjoy it and play it. And then I have some videos I'm thinking about how best to do it without overflowing people with a bunch of videos. Like, how do I introduce the game without being too overbearing? So I'm still thinking about it, but it was like, okay, I got to buy the European version because that's where my account is. And Sony, I was like, I got to buy an overseas version in English because people don't want to watch games with English, Japanese UI.
Japanese,
So I was like, oh, what do I do? Plus, I need to learn the lingo, that they use in English. So I was going to buy it, and buying those cards are expensive for me, the PS Store cards. Because I have to pay the inflated prices for the resellers.
Dude, like I told you, just ask me and I'll buy them. It's gonna be like the exact same price that the card is worth. It's not gonna be inflated at all. I can go to literally any store and buy one right now. I did that for Christmas even.
Well, the problem also with PlayStation Store cards, I don't know if you know this, but it's not just like, okay, Power Agent 2 and you're all good. They are all separate by country.
Yeah, so but listen, the only separation that exists, as far as I'm aware, is UK. It's like it's UK, and then there's the rest of Europe. Okay, what else is there?
I have a UK account. Well, no, Spain, France, and Italy are Spain, Italy, and France are all different.
You have a UK account?
Yeah.
Then you got to go ask Eric's.
Yeah.
You got to ask Eric's and Socks to hook you up. I can't do it.
But apparently, the games like if it's PAL Region 2, it's all good, but it connects to the same store. But like Italy and Spain, I believe, have their own store cards. At least that's where I've seen them sold separately.
Listen, let me
so
tell you,
oh.
the Spanish, you can't trust them, man. I'm sorry, it is what you can't trust them. Listen, it has nothing to do with the fact that our countries have a long-standing rivalry. It's just you can't trust them. They're just not trustworthy. I'm joking. I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. Like I'm sure that there's some Spanish people out gonna be like, "Freaking Rurikhan, Portuguese bastard."
They have the best local football in the world, so they got that.
Only because
Liga Española is the greatest. Because
where's Ronaldo? Where's Ronaldo right now? He's in Spain, right? I think he is.
He should be in Liga
Española. I don't follow. I feel bad. I don't actually follow football. I'm like in this one of the richest countries in the world when it comes to like football culture, and I'm just like, nah, that I don't care. It's like I actually liked what I went to the stadium with my father a couple of times. That I like going to the stadium feeling like the energy of people just like cheering. That is fun. But like watching it on the TV to me is like boring. I'm just like, dude, this is boring. Unless it's maybe like nationals or something. That I can.
Well, what sucks for me is like World Cup I loved, and I love Champions League.
Yeah,
but
World Cup
like,
is good.
All the games happen when I'm asleep, and I don't want to wake up and just I'm watching like
replay.
Something that we already know what happens. Like I want to see that live, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no. Okay, so Cristiano Ronaldo was in Real Madrid for 9 years, which was my favorite team.
See, that's why the Liga Española was so good.
Yeah. Then in 2018 he apparently went to Juventus, and now he's starting this year's he's with Manchester United.
Okay, so he's in the UK now. So he's improving, football over in Eric's land. He's
apparently he was part of Manchester United. Maybe he was kicked out for overdiving, but
hey man, why gotta be like that, dude? It's like
no. I feel we talked about this offline. I feel bad for him though because people are out to injure his ass. So
they
are. It's gotten really bad.
He's
but
very
he's a brilliant
talented
player.
Yeah, he's very talented. And here's the thing. I'm speaking against myself because like he started his football career in the one of the adversarial teams of the team that I kind of like support. I don't really support any team, but like if I had one, it would be Benfica, and he started in Sporting, which is
the rivals. Yeah,
they're the rivals.
That dude is 36 and running around doing all that stuff still. That's amazing.
I mean,
Jesus.
I think one of our other players like Figu, he probably lasted like very close to 40. I think, which was like he was the big. I feel like he was the big star before Ronaldo. Yeah. But now we're talking about football.
Yeah, let's stop sidetracking. Yeah, that's my. So what I don't. So yeah, that's my Toukiden. You asked me how Toukiden Kiwami was. That's how it is. It's super damn good. I feel like I've gone through the breadth of content. I want to make some videos, but I'm also eager to try Toukiden 2. But I want to give myself a damn break, and I need to make good on my promise to you.
Yeah. Before we get there. So you've played Kiwami over the break, and the one game that I've been playing over the break, besides 14 that everybody knows I'm like addicted to 14, but it's like when you're on break and you have to go like on family and stuff, and I'm not gonna have access to anything that I can play 14 on. I mean, I could play it on my phone remotely through PlayStation 5, but I mean, you're playing an MMO on a phone, trying to work out a rotation, like pulling out your controller and with all this apparatus that it's a pain in the ass. So I'm not doing that. And I was just like, not to mention, internet could like become unstable because I don't live in Japan where you guys have like gigabit internet on the friggin' subway. No, that ain't it in Portugal, right? So I was like, okay, I want to play a game and I want something that I don't have to get invested in because I'm invested in 14 right now and I don't want to get invested in anything else like in the long term because we got Rise PC coming out and then shortly after we have Elden Ring. And so I was thinking
what are you playing, like Girls Mode Fashion Designer for the Nintendo DS or something?
No. I was thinking about Shin Megami Tensei 5, but then I was like, no, there's too much investment in that. I'm going to have to like learn all about fusing, not personas. I don't know what they're called in Shin Megami Tensei games.
But you also can't tweet about the game without upsetting somebody, apparently. That's how I do it. It's like,
Shin Megami Tensei?
I don't know. Everybody's so rabid on Twitter these days on everything, especially that game. I guess.
I mean,
there's some rivalry between people calling it Persona knockoff or something. I don't know.
Oh my god! But Shin Megami Tensei came first, I think. I don't actually know.
I don't know.
It's like
There's some weird...
I always just enjoy the games for what they are. So it's like I don't care about which one came first, the chicken or the eggs. Like whatever. I like Persona 4 Golden. I love that game. I like Persona 5. So I probably like Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way, so it's like that would be too much commitment because, like I said, I don't want to commit right now. I'm not looking for a long-lasting relationship. I'm just looking for a one-night stand. And my one-night stand was going back to Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate on the 3DS. And I'll tell you what, one of the really cool things about the 3DS that I forgot is I really like the 3D effect. The 3D effect almost...
really?
Yeah. It's like the 3D effect to me, it almost increases the size of the monitor. It feels like the little monitor of the 3DS, because I have like the smallest 3DS, so it feels like the monitor itself becomes bigger because of the depth that you get. And... the image itself becomes sharper. Like, I'm not kidding. If I put it to 2D mode on the small 3DS, I feel like the game gets blurry. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the only one.
I'm polar opposite. Like I get a migraine after an hour, and then it just feels blurry to me.
So it feels blurry to you if you do the 3D?
Yeah. So I want that thing off. Rip that button out of the thing if I have to.
No, but it's like, to me, I always play with 3D on. The problem is whenever you like look away, because, you know, I have my kids running around and stuff, I'd look away, then I look back at the console and like the image is all messed up because it's using the infrared to see where your eye pupils are. And it's just like tracking your eye pupils as you look away, and then you look back and there's a little bit of lag. And I was like, ugh, that happens now and then. But other than that, like, I very much prefer playing it with 3D on. I think it looks great. And
interesting.
For you... runs at 60 FPS on the 3DS.
On the new 3DS.
On the new 3DS. I have a new 3DS. A modded new 3DS that I can capture with and whatnot. And that is great.
It runs beautifully, yeah. It feels great.
Yeah. So, and here's what I did. I told this story on the channel. I'm not sure if you've seen the video, but I got to tell you this because you're going to get a crack out of it. So... I was looking at the gear that I had, and it was almost like Gandalf and Lord of the Rings. Like, I have no recollection of this place. What was I doing? So I got full Rathalos set and Rathalos hammer. And I was like, what was I doing? I need to get like a gun lance in here. So I crafted like a random gun lance. And I go on a hunt with a random gun lance, and I'm like, this game is way harder than I remember. For some reason, like, my potions are not healing me at all. Like, I feel like, especially if you have to use the regular potions, like, dude, this is like barely 10% of my health. What the hell's going on here? And then eventually I was like, okay, let's look at our stats, because I figured, like, okay, Rathalos got like some attack up, so it's not going to help me too much with the gun lance, but at least it's attack up. Like, it's something. I can probably work with it. It's upgraded. Why am I having such a tough time? So I go in there and I look at the status, and there's something called recovery at -10. And I was like, oh,
I better deco that out.
And here's the worst part. I couldn't deco it out because I couldn't craft recovery of decorations. I didn't have the materials. So I replaced the chest with another random chest that I had, but it's like the armor just felt way too weak. So eventually what I ended up doing was I went to the armory and I bought, I just bought an armor set. I think it was like high iron or something like that. And then eventually I looked through the gun lances, and I was having trouble. And like I told you, I watched your video on Monster Hunter 4U gun lances, and you were showing off. And then the tech that I was missing was shell reload slam, which, because there's no quick reload in 4U unless you shell first. So you have to shell and then press A again, and then you got to quickly reload, and then you can do slam.
Then you get the slam.
I was like, okay, time to craft the Rathian gun lance and go full burst, and let's go. And then I started murdering things like really fast.
So how far did you get?
I only did like 2 or 3 hunts because it's like, see, this is why I didn't want it a long commitment game, because like I would play like a little bit, I'd do one hunt, then I'd have to go do something else, and then I'd do another hunt, and I'd do something else. So yeah.
I don't know. I'm hoping we go back and finish it, but we actually paused in our journey at G3. I think making the Sergio set took a lot out of Yuna. That took like, I think it took like 10 hours to make that set.
I think what I need to do is like you have to be the one to carry me through high rank so that I can make like a decent set. That's what we got to do. We got to play for you together, Gaijin. Wait, can we?
Once you get to high,
you have the Japanese version, right?
No, it's region locked. You can't.
Oh, this sucks.
This I have for you. I have the U.S. version somewhere around here.
It probably will not work either. I have the European version.
No. I think U.S. and Europe were together.
Really?
On servers.
It's just region 1 and 2? Okay.
I think so. But the problem is like once you're out of high rank, it's literally it's wasted effort because now you're in G. You got to make your iron set. It'll be much better than anything you had in high rank.
So I'll just have to.
And then just the G2, G3 grind is just, man, I forgot how long it takes to make a weapon. Oh, man. Because there's no scaling, right? So when there's only 2 of us on a multiplayer and one of us is trying to blaze through and get a weapon that actually does better damage, that's a disadvantage. And so like it hunts and you don't get the item. You got to go again. You got to hunt this monster. You got to hunt that monster.
What was the average
we made the full set
of like a G quest then? The average hunt time for 2 players G quest like you were doing with Yuna?
12 minutes, I think.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, 12, 13, I don't know. But it's bad when you have to hunt like, 20 of the damn monsters to make the set.
How long does an Among Us match last?
Oh, in Japan it lasts a long time.
So see, you should just tell
Christ.
look, your Among Us matches, they last.
Well, the thing is to
longer
remember,
than this hunt.
she hates the grind. When it's like, oh, you need some Acolyte orbs. Oh, you need some Bear Light orbs.
Oh,
okay, we
so
got to
she
go
does-
up to. She hates that, and it
yeah.
just totally left a nasty taste in her mouth.
I don't think.
And she's just like, ugh.
I think the problem is after. I mean, for me, it's not as big of a deal, right? But I think that for most players that start with like World and Rise, going back, and I know that somebody's going to be in the comment section. They're going to be like, I actually prefer GU after playing World. I know. Okay, for some people, you're the exception. Okay, for most people, after they experience like the fluidity of combat of like Rise and World, it is exceedingly hard to go back. Like even to me for a little bit, it was kind of hard going back to what you mean I can't hop forward? Like something as simple, I can't hop forward. That's like a massive hit on Gunlance mobility. It's insane. And not even that, but just like there's that, and then there's also the fact I can't hop twice to the side. You can only hop once. Yeah. And it's like, that sucks. It's like I need mobility. I can't move. It's like you're cutting my legs.
But like there was so much more freedom in making sets in GU, we had no problem going to the very end of that. So she faced out Talcott, we had a blast. But there's something about For You that has just been a little overbearing on her, and we just kind of stopped. I think it might also just be Monster Hunter fatigue setting in. So what we've actively been doing for the last, I'd say month, is we're actually taking a break from Rise, even though we love and adore the game, and there's a lot of event quests that they're doing really good. They're adding in a bunch of really cool and difficult quests. It's just there was one where I think it was the Super Rathian, I want to say, or something.
Apex, the Super Apex Rathian. Yeah, that one was hard. Took me a while.
I think it was her, but it was like for her, it was like, well, I probably need to grab the Spirit Birds, or I was like, well, you could just deck out your set with Defense, it'll help, so you don't get one shot. But it's that whole like, oh, I don't want to grab Spirit Birds because I hate.
There's no honor.
Nature.
There's no honor in that. There's no honor, Gaijin.
So, but I think we're waiting just for the Super All Mother to come, and then we'll be back on.
That's what my chat kept telling me as I was like dying repeatedly at Apex Wrath. Why don't you just grab the Spirit Birds, dude? You'll be fine. And I was like, no, I'll kill it.
No honor.
I'm just gonna keep slamming my head against it because I don't have the patience to grab the birds every time. I'm just gonna slam my head against it. And I don't remember if I did it without carding. I'm not 100% sure if I cleared her without carding. I think I did, but I'm not sure. Either way, I died a ton. I died a lot in that fight.
I'm almost curious now. There might be a good video idea in there for people who want to take down the Super Apexes. Having the defensive Spirit Bird and the Petal Ace, and actually going and maxing out the defense and the life actually makes a huge difference. Maybe if I can like find and spend time to research and find a route.
It's time. It's time for you to do one of your routes like you did for like getting Gil and stuff. Yeah, we need one of those.
Because that can come in handy for all the maps against all the monsters. but only specific for defense, because it's like you want to attack, you figure it out yourself. I don't care. You are this just a thing just to maximize to give you life and defense. That's it.
I can guarantee you one that would look for the attack ones would get more views. People want.
Well, I mean, I already have routes for all the attack. I almost
haven't made
did a video on it.
Did you?
I think I did actually.
Oh.
For just the attack one. So I just need to now do defense and life, because now they're actually necessary for for some people, and that's fine. It's just it's tedious. So she's like, but think about this. She started playing Monster Hunter in January this year. Last year she had never played a mainstream Monster Hunter game at all in her life. So she started.
A lot. Yeah,
she did Monster Hunter Iceborne, which she adored, and she put in. I want to say, I think she put in 300 hours on that.
Dude, you're gonna have to buy another PlayStation 5, or how are you guys gonna? Or you're gonna? Oh no, you're gonna get her to play on Xbox when the Monster Hunter 6 comes out.
What do you mean get her to play? That's how she started Monster Hunter, was on Xbox. I was lucky enough to snag a Series X and X. And she tried the demo, which is hilarious now, because when we would go back to play the demo, we're like, this thing is horrible. It's so
I'm not going to be able to play with you guys because I'm playing on PS. Well, no, wait, because according to my theory, cross-play, cross-progression is going to be a thing, so it should be fine. It should be fine. It shouldn't be a problem.
I love your hopeful nature.
No, dude, it has to be. It has to be. There's no way that they're not going to do like cross-play. Yeah.
But I mean, you figure we got like what? So she played the demo for Monster Hunter Rise about 100 hours, and then we were like, well, we got to wait until the game's out. This is kind of boring, because she was getting addicted. I was like, well, we have 2 Xboxes. Why don't we play World or Iceborne? Are you interested? Yeah, let's try that out. And boom, and 300 hours gone, and she beat Fatalis, Electron. We did everything. That was fantastic. 110 out of 100. And then we went and we played 500 hours of Monster Hunter Rise. So she's got about 480 hours. Then you had the demo, which she did another 100 hours. So she's got almost 600 hours there. So, and then we went and we did all of Double Cross. So for Generations Ultimate, all the way through Atal'Ka. So she fought every monster. We tried each Deviant once. We weren't going to grind everything, but she got to see all the monsters.
Oh, then right, because I almost forgot that she did GU, yeah. And then we went still.
And that was I think we probably played a good 100.
And you bought like a new 2DS for her for that one, didn't you?
Yeah. And then we went back. Well, no, we played that on the Switch, and then we went back to 4G, and then we played that up until G3. So we're 2 more ranks away from Gogma.
Eunice is ahead of me on 4U. I'm at the very beginning of high rank.
But she literally, I mean, she's put in over 1,000 hours of Monster Hunter this year. She needs a break from it. And otherwise, she's going to franchise fatigue herself. And me as well. So it's kind of nice to take a break.
I can tell you right now, like, Mizutsune was a really fun hunt. That was the latest. I think it was the latest, like, hard quest that they added. And I had a blast because I actually carded once, though, because I was having too much fun. It's like I was abusing Mizu. Because, like, everybody... No, not flying around. Because Mizu, I actually take the Mighty Corn Cob. It's so... Because it's got additional aquatic damage. It's so good. Like, those shells hit for, like, 70 damage. Boom! I was like, dude... It almost feels like you're cheating with the amount of damage those shells deal. That's where... You know, monsters like that is where the Gunlance really excels. And I was like so happy that I was like abusing Mizu disgustingly.
You put that like Gordon Ramsay picture of the quote, like finally some
quality damage, some quality shelling.
Yeah, finally some gun shell damage.
It was damage. It was really good, and I beat him up real good too. But yeah, that quest to me was real easy. So a lot of people were expecting me to like die and whatnot. People are like, oh, he's gonna bring out the longsword next. Like, no, I don't have to, because like this gunline is gonna just brutalize this monster. And wide shelling is almost perfect for him too, because you go like with guard reload, wide shelling is just so good.
Yeah, he'll come to you. You don't have to chase him around.
Yeah, exactly. And I just shell with impunity, and then I also use that. I don't have to, but I still, because like I don't think it's actually optimal damage to put the worm stake. But I'm like, no, the worm stick's going in.
Yeah.
It's going to stun him. Yeah, I'm going to put the worm stick in. It's that old thing of like people used to tell me back when I was playing Sword and Shield and Rise, people were like, why are you doing Perfect Rush? And I'm like, because I spent friggin' 2 weeks learning how to do this goddamn move.
Because I like it.
I'm going to do it every chance I get. You better believe it. Like, I literally spent like 2 weeks mastering Perfect Rush in Monster Hunter World.
And you're like, look, the monster's dead.
Yeah,
it didn't take 50 minutes. So what are you complaining about? And I had a good time.
It's way cooler than just like, because like I see the speedrunners and it's, you know, they're doing a really good job with like shield bash, and like they don't do Perfect Rush at all. It's just like shield bash, doesn't use sharpness, doing it, just shield bash everything. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool and all, but like Perfect Rush is stylish. I mean, I play Gunlance for crying out loud. You can't say that I care that much for efficiency when I'm playing Gunlance.
I will say there's nothing quite as satisfying when you get a down monster, you initiate the Perfect Rush fast enough that when you finish it with the downward the hit, they're standing up, and then you do another uppercut, and then you knock them out, and you go right back at it. It just feels so good.
It's very, very satisfying. Like they can't take Shoryugeki away from the Sword and Shield ever again. It's just like they can't take Blast Dash away from the Gunlance. You can't do it.
We'll protest in the streets.
You hear that, Ryozu? You just can't do it. Don't allow any of your directors to do that. Okay, those moves are now staples. It is the creed. Yes. But so. Like I said, I played For You for Christmas, and, you know, we already talked about some of the Rise events. We have some more stuff to talk about Rise. Before we get there, there's another game that we do have to talk about briefly, because I don't want to, like, you know, burn people out. I actually started moving Final Fantasy XIV content from my main channel, this channel, to the secondary channel, because YouTube hates it. YouTube really doesn't like me doing 14 content in this channel. It's very sad, because I did some really good guides and YouTube just like buried them. It's like, okay, we'll put this in the trash bin right here. But you've started playing Final Fantasy XIV finally. Tell us about that.
So I literally, anytime I'm booting up to play Toukiden, I hear your voice saying, "But you promised," is what I hear.
But I'm like the ghost of Christmas Past. Is that what's happening? I'm the ghost of Christmas Past. You promised you'd do it.
What the hell, man? And this is like I've told people, I'm on holiday break, and there's no other time that I'm gonna have to think, you know, okay, I'm gonna play a game for 7 hours today. And like my mindset going into gaming right now on each day is like, okay, I'm gonna play for like 5-6 hours. I'll stop to clean the house, mess around with Yuna, have some fun, go shopping, and make dinner, but I'm going to play for hours on end.
Yeah.
Like, this is my golden moment to finally see what it's all about and see if it's for me or not. Because obviously it's good. It's just whether or not it connects with me is a whole nother story. We don't know. So finally, the other day you had helped me start a new character on the Japan server, because we had no rushes on queues, which are pretty much gone now around the world, because everyone's either finished the game and moved on, or
it's actually not as it's not as gone as I made it understand to you the other day. Because like yesterday, for instance, at like 8 p.m., I had like 500 people in queue in my server, but I was told by people in my chat that like no, different servers are still like, they still have tons of queues. It's just Spriggan is not a huge server, so therefore our queues are kind of like already on the down low. But like a lot. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. There's going to be people like moving servers now. Don't come to.
Well, this you won't be playing. You won't be playing when I'm playing. So it's like when I logged in both times today, my queue was 2 on the first one, and then my queue was 4 on the second. And then one time I didn't even have a queue. I just got in. I was like, okay.
And Gaijin's on a trial account, guys. So he's getting in on a trial account on Spriggan. So yeah, it's pretty good. The queues are pretty good on there.
Yeah, so I will admit it's actually better the fact that I redid the beginning with you. I got to a point where I was going to boot it, guys, and I was laying like a little kid in my living room, like having a temper tantrum, laying in bed, And Yuna's like, what? And she rolls her eyes at me. And I'm like, I need motivation. And it's like, I really should play FF14. I know Rurikhan wants me to play 14. I said I'd play 14. Everyone wants me to try 14. I just can't get off my ass to do it. How do I find the motivation? It's just like, it's like you have homework that you know you have to do. You can't get away with not doing it, and then you just can't. Your brain is telling everything in your body is telling you, don't.
It's interesting because I feel like that's the way most players feel when it comes to starting final. Because I felt the same way, and it was just like my chat pulling me on. It's like, no, you got to try it, got to do it, got to try it. Just don't do side quests, just do the MSQ, just got to do it, try it. And then eventually when you get in, it's like it still takes a while to get used to it. Because like even you look at the visuals
it's
and
less,
you're like,
the bed under the monster is always more scary with the lights off, right?
It's like if you look at the visuals, like even you right now, you look at these visuals and you're probably like, wow, this game looks dated. I guarantee.
No, like, it looks great.
It's like, but to me, it felt like this game looks a little bit dated. I don't know if I like the art style, but it's like the moment that you actually start playing it, like to me, I think this is one of the best looking games that I've played. Even though it's like these are 2013 graphics, I'm like, this game looks freaking gorgeous.
I'm sure the fact that I'm playing on PS5 helps, but I'm also on the European server and my internet probably helps. But like, it runs flawless. Like there's like,
oh yeah,
you go into the open world and it's just like, there you go. There's no popping, there's no loading, it's just like, zoom, you're in, and it feels expensive.
There is one thing that you will know if you're like in an area and there's like tons of players on there, the game has like a limited amount of players that it will render, and at that point you'll get player pop in. And that is
that's fine.
That is actually jarring when you see it the first time, because like imagine just a crowd of people around you, but there's like a little ball. It's just a little ball, and then as you move forward, the ball keeps growing.
Well, the thing is like we get kind of. I think I'm probably used to player popping because it's kind of like what you get when you play Souls games. Because every now and then you'll just see this little apparition of a guy fighting, and you're like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?" And then it just becomes it's a thing, you know, the people dying.
the white phantoms and the red blood stains and okay. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? That's some weird stuff.
But anyway, so starting over the second time was good because the first session we did, I'll be honest, I would have never made it through myself.
Yeah.
Understanding the UI, understanding how to set things up was just way too much for me.
I think that the problem is also like, ultimately, most MMO games are designed to be played on a keyboard. So like you have here's all of your keys that you can put and whatnot, and transitioning that to a controller, which is what you're doing. You're playing controller. A lot of people are going to be like, Gaijin, you can just hook up a keyboard and mouse to your PlayStation 5. And yes, you can do that, but
I have a mouse.
Yeah, Gaijin wants to play on a controller, and I play on a controller, and I think it's like, look, I know, all right? This is just a fact of life. Some people are not going to accept it, but 14 has the best controller support of any MMO in existence ever. It's just that simple. It's the best. And it's so good, Yoshi P didn't even patent it because he was like, I want other people to steal this from me. Just like copy it. It's not patented, just copy it. Just copy the way that we did it, and that way you'll have a good functioning system for your MMO. That's what you got to do. But most people, unfortunately, don't do it. But yeah.
Yeah, that initial hump was tough. But we decided, okay, I need to be carried a little bit. Not carried because you couldn't even help me on my quest. You were just like sitting there in the car waiting for me as you're like, let me out at the side of the road to go take a whiz, and you're like, let me know when you're done because I don't see what the hell you're doing. You're hitting air and you're running around. I don't know what you're doing because I'm doing a quest that you don't have.
I dropped you off at the arcade and gave you a couple of quarters. That's what I did.
And so we decided, okay, you had space open up in your European server, so we jumped on. Yeah. My daughter said, call Rurikhan. Maybe he'll walk you through. He'll help motivate you. I said, okay, that's a good idea. So I think I messaged you that I'm screaming like a child or something.
You said what? Cries like a baby.
Yeah.
And it was funny because
I need motivation.
Usually I wouldn't even be in the office, but that morning I happened to be because my dad, like, he wanted to do some stuff and needed some help. So I happened to be here and I was like, okay, sure, let's do this.
The irony of someone who loves Monster Hunter complaining about confusing UIs, right? But it's not the UI that's confusing. It's the navigating the UI, like closing windows, and there's so much stuff going on. That's just the nature of the genre, right?
It's mostly because of the controller thing. Because like when it comes to navigating, like a lot of these menus on PC, you just hit escape and everything goes away. You just spam escape until everything goes away. And on console, you have to like select the right things, and you have to practice a lot with that. It's like even I struggle with it sometimes, closing different UI elements in the game and whatnot.
Yeah,
there's a
well, that's
lot
why I
of
put
stuff.
the mouse. I hooked up the mouse to it, and it worked out great. But that second time was great because you literally chauffeured me around. So I redid the beginning all over again, and then I was able to get the same name, same character, which was great, which I'm very happy about. Her name is Lily Bloodbath. She's going to be the greatest conqueror. she's a small little French fry.
He's playing a Lalafell Marauder, for anyone wondering.
The axe is almost as big as me.
Yes.
My axe will get bigger than me. That's the goal, is to have an axe that is much bigger than me.
Oh yeah, that's not particularly hard.
And the fact that I'm going to be a tank is going to be really funny. Because a tank I think would work good for me because I like to go pretty like jump first, ask questions later, and as long as I know what defense scenes I need to have up, I should be okay.
That's the thing that always confuses me when people are like, I don't want the responsibility of playing a tank. Responsibility. It's the lack of. Yeah, I go in first, and if anybody dies, I blame the healer. It's like, I think I have no responsibility whatsoever.
There's like literally no, you just go in blazing and make sure that the enemies, you're hitting all of them. So that they're all looking at you. And then someone got your back and going to heal you. You're just going in there swinging blind. Well, not blind, but you know what I mean? So it's like, this is going to be great for me because there's no weird... I think healer would be stressful. Like trying to keep track of everybody and everything, but I don't know. I've never played these games before. So
I've always said I think that DPS is the most stressful job. A lot of people disagree because DPS have...
you've got to configure your builds and everything, right?
No, not really builds. It's like...
No?
You need to figure out your rotation, and figuring out your rotation, actually learning how to do it properly. DPSers have the most complex rotation, usually, and they have to do that rotation, and at the same time, they have to do mechanics. And it's like, usually, if things aren't dying fast enough, it's DPS's fault. So to me, like the biggest fault point is always DPSers, because if something lasts long enough, then everybody breaks down. Because, like, dude, I don't want to be doing my rotation for 30 minutes. Okay, this thing needs to die.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good about what I chose for now, and I think tank is going to be my way to go because it's mechanically less complicated than I thought, and I'm finally learning how to do the enmity, and it's flashbacks to Behemoth from Iceborne, and.
I mean, that's why that mechanic is there. Except enmity doesn't really work like it does in 14 on Behemoth.
Oh, it's much
much better.
I like this
here.
one more because because the Marauder has that, like, was it Defiance, where you just go in there like as a badass. It's almost like you're announcing to the world, hey, F you guys, and you're walking at the battle and they immediately look at you and they're like, "Argh," and you're like, come and get it.
And the funny thing is that you're playing a little potato character and it's like,
yes,
I'm the baddest one in this party. Y'all have to face me. It's almost like, imagine someone's playing like a Rogathan, which is like the really, really big characters, and they're playing like a healer Rogathan, and you're like, if you want to get to him, you have to get through me. And the monster's looking, it's like, who's talking?
Where?
And then they have to like look down. Oh, you.
Look down. Oh. Exactly. So that's why I'm going to love this character. It reminds me of my Dragon's Dogma girl. She was a really small little French fry, but she kicked major ass. But she was a light weapon user. This one is going to be a heavy one, so that's going to be fun. But yeah, so I started up, and then today, so I had a great play session with you. You showed me off some of the cool mounds. You drove me around like a chauffeur, like driving me to prom or something. You're like letting me out, and I'm killing stuff. You're like, okay, where are we going next? And we're having Discord issues. I'm like, 2 o'clock.
I'm surprised.
No, over there.
I'm surprised that Discord is like working today. Cause like yesterday, Discord, I need to shut up.
Shut up.
I'm gonna jinx it at this point.
You're gonna jinx it, dude, man. Stop it.
It's very dangerous.
But today I put in a good few hours, and I went I got up to level 20. And I got past the first like opening city. They showed me a really cute sort of like elfish city. I forgot the name, Grania or something. And then
Gridania.
they immediately ushered me out.
Thank God.
They immediately ushered me. Well,
listen, you don't want to be in Gridania, okay? Gridania is not. No,
why?
No, Gridania is
pretty.
Bad. No, dude.
They immediately ushered me out to the most bland, boring, like building.
And
I'm like,
what? In the city? You mean, or to another city?
To another city. It's
like, Ulda.
Yeah, I was not feeling that. I'm like, this is boring as hell.
Yeah, Ulda
I'm like in a big
is
movie theater complex or something.
It's the desert city. Yeah, I get it.
Nah, no, thank you. So they got me out of there. So I was like, yes. And they're like, go back home. I'm like, okay. So I go back home, and it's kind of funny. I kind of felt nostalgia going back to the bar.
Yeah.
I was like, the wench, give me.
Dude.
Why don't they let you drink?
Let me tell you, you can drink. You can buy a drink and then you can drink it, but it's not like Monster Hunt. I don't think you can. I've never really tried.
Damn.
It's not like Monster Hunt where you just like you sit at the bar and you drink ale. But you can do that. But you know how people do? They do that with other players. So like there's a housing system, and you can players can have houses, and so they'll have events where you go there and there are emotes for you to like drink and eat bread and do other things, and people do that.
It would have been nice though, because they have stools there to just hit a button and you sit down and you can do some gestures. That would be fun. At least for taking photos and having fun. I mean, so I did that, dude. Then they give me to the actual. Now after how many hours was that? Like 10, maybe. And now they finally give me the damn tutorial for the game, and I'm like, thanks, guys.
No.
If I didn't have Rurikhan here, my only tutorial would have been pop-ups all over the place, and then a bunch of not even fetch quests. It's like, I want you to go to the other side of this world, just talk to this guy, and he's gonna tell you to come right back to me. And then you got to do it all manually.
You're gonna struggle. What? You're going to struggle through the post.
I sold everything I had to buy Gil so that I could just transport myself back. I was sick of walking. I sold everything. Okay. I did every fate I came across, and I sold every item I ever got.
Yoshi P.
Screw it.
Please sell Final Fantasy XIV again so I can give him 1 million Gil. Yoshi P, please sell Final Fantasy XIV.
Well, I'm going to make a pledge here.
Okay.
On my next full play session, which I'll play a little bit more tonight, but it won't be a full session. It'll probably be like 3 hours. But on my play sessions are like 5 is what I consider a session. So I'll do a session probably tomorrow. If I'm feeling good at the end of that play session, I will purchase the game.
You can't.
What do you mean?
You literally can't. They're not selling it.
I thought you said they got rid of the queues and stuff.
Yeah, but they're still not selling it. You know how people tell you, like, hey, have you ever heard of the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy? Now it just reads, no vacancies, we're full, get out.
I thought when you said they were doing away with the queues, I thought you meant that they were doing away with those restrictions.
Not yet.
Oh, never mind. Screw my pledge.
Actually,
never mind.
I'm thinking about it, and because you have a trial account, you might be able to buy it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because I'm in and I'm able to play.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're in. It's more like new people. So I think if you have a trial account, you might be able to
just an upgrade, right? It's just it's like an in-game purchase at this point. It's just a DLC.
I'm not sure. We'll have to see, but I think. But I will,
if I have a play session and it feels as good as today's play session felt, I will buy it. But now the game is finally giving me
a tutorial.
A damn tutorial.
He's talking about the Hall of the Novice, by the way, guys, for those of you who don't know. And the reason they wait that long is because at the start you have literally one ability, and they want to teach you about combos. They want to teach you about using your damage buff. They want to teach you about dodging telegraphs and all of that stuff. And
what they could have did? They could have removed the last 2 hours of quests and streamlined it, because there's so much like. Go to this town and talk to this guy. No, go to this town and talk to. They just cut that out.
Let me explain to you. They did that already. You're playing the better version. You're playing the better. Okay, I played the old version, which had even more filler quests.
Because I gotta say, it started out okay, and then Okay, I'm gonna rant about this one thing.
Okay.
I don't know how many people must quit this game, or maybe I'm over exaggerating.
Oh, tons
there's
of
one
them do.
quest. No, there's one quest that they make you do, and they never, or I missed it. If I did not have the internet, there's absolutely no way I would have been able to progress in this game, and I would have just quit and uninstalled it. And I had to look on like GameFAQs or something. If it wasn't for the internet, I would not be able to play it, which is why they say you need to go confront this guy. And I go to confront him, and I talk to him, and he just tells me to like F off. And then I talk to him, and nothing happens. I talk to him, and nothing happens. So I walked all the way back to town. And yes, I walked all the way back to town. Then I walked all the way back to him. And then this thing said, no, you have to type /doubt. And then you have to press X to execute in front of him. And that will tell him the doubts that the other NPC had. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Dude, listen, let me explain to you. The problem with this is that you minimized your chat window. These things show up on your chat window letting you know what you should be doing on this quest. And because you got rid of it, you don't know. you have to find a way. You have to find some place that you can put the chat window.
The thing is like, my character has no vested interest in this NPC at all. And then this other guy says, hey, I think he's up to something. You need to go talk to him and tell him, hey, I think we're on to you. And so why don't I just go to him, and when I talk to him, we have that conversation?
No.
Why are they forcing me to do a damn emote?
Let me explain to you why. Because earlier you said, I wish they would let me do emotes to drink and whatnot. And the game is showing you that there is an emote system that you can use to do those gestures that you want to do that enable socializing. They shouldn't be part
of the functionality of progression.
It's important. Listen, you just don't understand how many people RP in this game. Like, I'm talking like not just RP, but ERP. You know what ERP is?
Electronic roleplay?
No, erotic roleplay.
Oh, well, I got a picture of you in the town, and right next to you was like an ass in my face. I was like, I'll show you this.
No, listen, that's just Tuesday. that's just Tuesday in Limsa Laminza, dude. That's
but what's her name?
Normal.
What's her name is a waifu? Yustola?
There it is.
She's cute. I like her.
There it is, dude.
It doesn't mean I'm gonna play as a cat. It just means that I'll sleep with cats. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is. It's like, hey, but remember how I told you that like the city that you were in had one of the game's waifus? She's not my favorite waifu of that game. My favorite waifu comes much later in Heavensward. Hilda, she's the best waifu. It is what it is, but to each their own. But yeah, Ishtola is like the universal waifu, not step on me mommy. There's other step on me mommy characters, but yeah.
Well, she's not sexy. She's like a mix between cute and pretty.
She's not sexy yet.
No. Oh, good God. Stop it.
I'm not saying anything. I'm shutting up right now.
Anyway, I liked her, and I was not aware that she was one of the characters. I mean, the guys all look like ass, so I imagine that she must be popular.
Oh, yes. Very popular.
So, so now the game is giving me tutorials, and it's like, okay, here's how you do this. I'm like, you couldn't have given me like the real basic crap at the start, and then give me the advanced stuff later, like. Because the tutorials are simple. They're not bad. They're well done.
Yes. The Hall of the Novice is very good. You should have given to this
early.
Yeah. The Hall of the Novice is very good, but it's like I'm telling you, it's very hard for them to fix Realm Reborn. I say fix like kind of loosely, but to make it more approachable. They made it. Like Yoshi P literally just like he nuked the world. Like 1.0 was so bad that he just like he nuked it. Like, here comes this moon, destroys everything, and now here's Realm Reborn. Like, that's basically what he did. Like that first cutscene that you watch.
I thought that was gonna be at the end of.
No. So here's what happened. So at the end of 1.0,
I thought that was gonna be at the end of.
No.
Because I watched that cutscene when with Asmongold. I was watching him watch it.
No. So here's the way that it worked, right? So 1.0 was real bad. It had a developer there, the director guy, who was also a little bit arrogant because a news reporter asked him at one point in an interview, "Why doesn't your game have a jump button?" And he just scoffed it off as like, "Jump button, stupid Western." I mean, he didn't say that, but obviously that was kind of like the inferred, right? And it's like, obviously he did a pretty bad job of making the game, but the story that was there was still kind of decent. So Yoshi P was like, "Here's what we're gonna do. We're going to patch this game, and at the same time, I'm going to develop not a completely new game. He basically they changed the engine, because they had to redo it." Yoshi P looked at it and was like, "I can't fix this, okay? This is unfixable. Yeah. What you guys have done here is unfixable." And the game still has some problems, which people refer to as spaghetti code, because, it still uses some of that legacy stuff. But so it was just really interesting that he started developing a new game, didn't tell anyone, and at the same time, he was patching 1.0. They did the stop selling thing as well, because they're like, "Okay, our game is ass. We can't sell this. This is terrible. This is going to do horrible damage." They removed the subscription fee, so anybody that had bought the game, they could play for free, and they fixed the game as best as they could to make the player base, it's like, look, these are hardcore dudes. We got to make sure that we keep them somewhat happy, so that when we actually launch the fixed version of the game, we'll at least have a base of players. And all of those players that played back then, they're actually in the credits for Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
Like they put all that stuff, which is really cool. But what happened was, at the ending of 1.0, as they were reaching the final patches, you could see like a red thing in the sky. And people started looking at like, what is this? And with every patch, it would get bigger. So it was the moon coming down, and then at the end of it, the developers started just like summoning lots and lots of monsters around major cities and stuff, and the players were like fighting them. They were defending. Like there was even lore built around.
Oh, they actually had people like actually play out the end.
Yes,
against it was an absolutely unwinnable.
They were trying to make people fight unwinnable conditions, but they were struggling because players were just so strong that they were just like beating everything that they were throwing at them. and there's actually a group of players that were almost became legendary, which was there's this mount in the game, which is the Gabu. You might have seen it already. It's one of those big dudes with the flailing arms, or whatever. So that's a mount, and players basically, because that was one of the biggest mounts, they all mounted up, and they like put a defense in front of the city to kind of like defend it against the monster. You can't even do anything when you're mounted. It was just like the idea behind it, right? They were making a wall of monsters so that you couldn't get through to the city. And it was just really cool, right? And so it was a very cool moment. And then at the end, when they okay, this is the end, they basically made it so that the game would play that cutscene that you see at the end. Where the moon comes down and Dalamud comes out and blows everything up. And that's kind of like the justification for Realm Reborn, because everything blows up and it's a new world. Bahamut.
Okay, you said Dalamud. I'm like,
Dalamud is the name of the moon where Bahamut was. Bahamut was inside it, basically. I can't tell you more because lore, but Bahamut was inside that moon. He comes out, he blows everything up. And then it's like
everybody dies.
You see, not everybody dies, because
small group remains. Yeah, I watched the cutscene.
Yeah. If you see the cutscene, you see that there's this old man who's Louisoix, and he does a spell, and like five or six people disappear. Right? You see them disappear. Yep. That spell basically teleported them 5 years into the future, and you don't know what happened.
F in chat for him or no?
For Louisoix.
Yeah, he looked like he got. I mean, maybe we can't talk about it. But it looked like
that's the thing. You don't know what happened to him. You don't know what happened to him. Yeah, we don't actually know. Yeah. So and here's the thing: everybody that was in that event, nobody knows what happened, because everybody suffered from massive memory loss after that apocalyptic event. So nobody remembers what happened. Nobody remembers who the warriors were that were fighting. But basically, those warriors that get teleported, they are symbolically the players of 1.0. That Louisoix saves them and ports them into the future.
That name sounds like a fashion designer.
Louisoix? It's French.
It is the new brand by Louisoix.
But you have a lot to look forward to, but you're enjoying it, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean the once and this is gonna sound so stupid, but once I associated the combat with Fantasy Life Online, a mobile game, it clicked.
I think Fantasy Life is an MMO as well, if I'm not
Fantasy
mistaken.
Life, yeah. Well, this is like you're running around as a party of 4 as you go into quests, and you know it's free roaming. But the thing is like it's got a combination of abilities that you activate, just like FF, which is the meat of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then you have your basic combos, but the basic combos are just there to fill the time.
Yeah.
And you have positional stuff, but like the enemies have like radiuses of where they're about to attack, so you know to move out of the way.
Yeah,
and
Fantasy
like
Life is an MMO.
It's like a MMO for babies, and it's much more simplistic, but it has very similar mechanics. And I remember me and Yuna spent, I want to say 30 hours on one of the Fantasy Life Online bosses. It was a raid with this crazy flame gorilla. It had multiple phases, would have bombs, and the bombs would fall. You'd have to quick split it up into teams. Like, you got top, I got left, you get right. You got to destroy all of them, because after 3 seconds, everything blows up and it's an instant kill for everybody. And it was really high tech. And we got so good at that hunt that we started coordinating, like we were helping to carry people. A raid, yeah. We were coordinating the events so that we can do them with other people, because we knew how to do it really well.
Yeah.
And we would start out in the room by like letting them know, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'll give the instructions, and we got a lot of people through, and that was fun.
Let me tell you right now, if you like that, you're going to love this, because it's got tons and tons and tons of raids, dude. So many raids in this game.
We'll see. Yeah. But I mean, once I equated that, then, and also like I was saying, just the simple nature of, at least right now, it's still pretty simplistic. So it's like, I go in, I've got a few upkeep things, I hit them with a 2-hitter. I got to remember what I hit last. Is that what you mean by rotation? Like knowing like the order of what you're doing?
Yes, that's exactly. Okay. And it's like Warrior has, I think it's still potentially the easiest job to play. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's either Warrior or Summoner right now, because they changed Summoner to be easier, but those two are like the easiest jobs to play. So,
and dude, they gave me a tomahawk. They gave me a ranged attack as well.
You can throw it.
So I can start a fight by I always start by charging at him.
Yeah.
But now I can throw something at his face as I'm running at him.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good. I'm just like zhunk. But the hardest thing of my whole gameplay so far was I think I wasted 20 minutes, and I failed Fate because I had to I didn't fail it. I got it, but I think it was a Fate, but I had to target nests for like these like goggle creatures.
it was the dodo. Yeah,
and I messed that up. It's like,
yep.
I can't target the damn nest, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm right in front of it. I've killed everything 5 times already.
All the nests. It's only some of them. Yeah, I know.
Oh man, that was frustrating as hell.
Yeah, there's some things that are like that, but the game gets better as you move forward through zones and expansions for sure. It gets more and more polished.
But my second play session was fun. I was having a good time, so
okay.
We'll see how it goes. Well, I'll keep it up.
It's good. It's like after this podcast, we should actually do your first dungeon. I think that'll be fun. Because
that'd be fun.
You're right. You're right on the quest where you get your first dungeon, so that'll be cool.
Ooh, yeah, you can walk me through it.
But besides that, there hasn't really been a whole lot of Monster Hunter news, with the exception that the director pretty much vindicated me, because I remember in the last podcast, we were hypothesizing, and I was saying like, maybe February, and then you said that something was happening around March. I don't remember exactly what was happening around March, and I was like, okay, March it is. It's going to be in March.
End of fiscal year.
Yeah, end of fiscal year was on March. Yeah, that's what it was, and I was like, okay, then it's 100% going to be on March. Is March
that's when you want to get
spring?
your investors excited about your projections for the next year and stuff like that.
Is March considered spring?
Yeah, March 26th is the start of spring officially, like on the calendar.
There you go, dude. That's exactly when it happens.
The thing is,
I was right and you were wrong.
No, the thing is, it's the same thing with the why. Did we even talk about that in the podcast yet?
What?
No, we haven't yet. Okay, that was pre-podcast. We'll get to that. The egg.
Oh yeah, the white variant stuff. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So the thing is we don't actually know, because what's really weird about this is the Monster Hunter account sent out a tweet saying, "I know you guys are waiting for news or whatever, and just keep holding on next spring." And it was confusing. I'm like, wait, are they saying that they're moving it up, that they're releasing in spring? No, that can't be.
No.
Are they saying that their next big news splash is gonna be in the spring?
Yes.
If so, that gives them less than half of a year, because usually their campaigns are 6 months from the initial start of marketing campaign until release. Does that mean that the game is coming out late summer? Because otherwise, like, is it going to be releasing in September?
It's probably going to be late summer, yeah.
Because if so, then it makes sense, because there's almost always a half a year marketing campaign. It's the general rule of thumb for the video game industry, as far as I'm aware. So and Capcom's always followed that, usually to a T. So if they're going to start out the huge campaign in March, then shit, that puts us out in like August, September. But that's right after summer break. So it's like, really? Would they not want to release it before summer break?
I mean, summer break where? In Japan? Because, I mean, isn't August still summer break for US? I'm pretty sure August is still summer break for US, no?
Yeah, but August is also a horrible time to launch a game.
Because
it's bad timing.
People are going to the beach and whatnot, and yeah.
Plus, it also means that you have to do huge sales during November for the holidays, because it's old at that point, so to say. Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to do, but but the thing is, the Japanese Twitter account never said anything like that. Anything.
So it was only on the Western one?
It was only on the Western one. So I'm like,
interesting.
What the hell? And the thing is on the Japanese one, they said that starting in January, they're going to start back up the weekly series, in which we get some pictures drawn from Minoto talking about the world of Sunbreak. Specifically Sunbreak. So I'm like,
but
what?
that's like not like a
that's
big
not really marketing,
or
but like,
right? So,
well, you know what? Honestly, if I wish they would have been more clear in the tweet on what they meant. But if they mean that, hey, we'll have our first like massive like, Monster Hunter Direct kind of like, news event somewhere around springtime, I'm fine with that. If it was a little bit more clear, because I got plenty of stuff I need to get done before that.
Yeah.
I just wish it was a little bit more clear.
I'll tell you what, the later they launch, because like I've already made up my mind recently that's like, look, the games that I'm going to cover, because I'm getting too old for this. I'm not going to be doing the rat race that I've been doing all these years, because that takes a massive toll on my health. So it's like, look, there's 3 games that I'm going to cover everything that happens. And this channel is going to be 2, which is whatever is Souls that's coming from software, and Monster Hunter, and maybe some Monster Hunter likes. And then Final Fantasy XIV on my other channel, right? Those are like the 3.
That's a lot.
Those are like the 3 pillars of Rurikhan moving forward, pretty much. Yeah. But there's still some stuff that I want to play that's like older. And so one of those is Nier. I want to play Nier Replicant, because I haven't played that one yet. I've played Nier Automata. I haven't played Replicant. And it's like whatever time I have between Elden Ring and Rise is probably going to go to Nier, and potentially like God of War, because supposedly they're releasing a new God of War as well. Did you play the first God of War? I think you did, right?
Yeah, I want to say I've played all the God of Wars.
Damn.
Even the one on the PSP, which I actually liked.
You've played more God of Wars than me then.
I played 1, I played 2, played 3, played the PSP. I played the new one on PS4, like God of War. So I think that is all of them, right? I mean, they didn't make that many of them.
Yeah,
I like the God of War series. It's like to me, it's the Hollywood blockbuster. It's the Indiana Jones. It's the popcorn. I'm doing something that looks incredibly cool, but what I'm actually doing is really simple.
Yeah,
I'm just hitting some buttons with some nice little evades here and there, and it's kind of there's some puzzles, and it's great.
Did you ever play Bayonetta? I think you'd be into that.
Yeah.
No.
I bought it, but the thing is, like, I have a hard time getting into character action games. I know it's a really weird name. I didn't come up with it. It took me a while to ask people what it's called, but they're called character action games.
You know what I call those?
I know that's
spectacle fighters.
Yeah, the thing is, the problem with those is that in order to get the most enjoyment out of them, they require a certain amount of mechanical knowledge of the combo systems.
Not really. Just play it on easy and enjoy it.
I don't know. I couldn't get into it. But I can recognize that the quality was top notch. Like, I can appreciate the game. Where I played Devil May Cry 3 and I wasn't feeling it. It was another one of those things where it's like, it's just not the type of game I play, but I really like Devil May Cry 5. I think it's because I like the story and I like the characters a lot. And I like that they swapped the characters every other mission, so that like I never felt like I was focusing on one play style. And the combo system I found fine, like that I really enjoyed. But
see, I actually have serious troubles like adapting to the Devil May Cry combo system. It's very hard for me. Because like I want to get the triple S's and all of that stuff. Like it's very.
I think I got one triple S in my entire playthrough, and it was with V, because V
that's the was first the easiest one.
V was awesome with the summoning of those guys. That was so cool.
I love DMC5. Was amazing.
Everyone likes Dante, but I'm like, no, man, V was amazing.
Well, I mean, Dante swings a goddamn motorcycle, so there's that.
Yeah. Moonwalks and
oh man, yeah, Dante's amazing, but yeah, V was I think V was actually my favorite character that game. Like overall, I really liked playing as him, and I liked the overall story of it. I thought it was really cool.
I love his bird, like the whole just the dialogue was really fun. So, but yeah, so Bayonetta, I can appreciate it for the quality it is. It just isn't really my cup of tea when it comes to those type of games.
Yeah, Bayonetta and Vanquish were like the things that got me super mega hooked on Platinum. But then Platinum recently came out with that thing that they're doing for Square Enix, and I really am just going to call it that thing, because good God, what is that even? Jesus Christ. What's it called again? The Babylon's Fall. I was so disappointed in that. I was like, dude, this is literally not why people come to Platinum games. Like, literally not the reason people want to play your game at all.
Yeah, I felt bad. I did back Wonderful 101 Remastered.
Yeah, that's
one
good.
Because I like to back creators that have given me a lot of joy, whether or not it's that I even care about the game. It just wants to say thank you.
Yeah,
sort of like, as it's when I could tell it's a passion project, right? Like Inafune and his famous falling out with the Mighty Number 9. I backed it. Do I care? No. I was just saying thank you for being involved in the franchise, and it was a passion project. And unfortunately, he didn't do very good on it, and it ended up blowing in his face. But he got the chance to make the game, right?
Yeah.
And then Bloodstain, I backed that, and then the Wonderful 101, I backed that because Okami and those games from those guys are great. So it's like, you want to do a passion project, I'll help you support it. Good luck. And I tried playing it, and it just isn't my type of game. I could tell that it's a high-quality game. It's just not my thing. It's unfortunate, but it happens.
But yeah, it almost feels like we're doing this game to, like, pay the bills. And it's like, yeah, I get it. Sometimes I do videos to pay the bills. I get it. But it still just feels weird to see Platinum do that. But anyway. Yeah. What were you talking about? I lost myself.
Oh, well, you were talking about your focus for next year. My focus is going to be, this year was mainly on just playing with my daughter. So I actually took a back seat on a lot of, I still actually made quite a bit of Rise videos looking back at it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot I didn't. And the reason for that was, one, I was dealing with a lot of health complications this year that I've talked a little bit about, but that's been a thing. Work has been busy. Obviously, as a single parent, that's been busy, but also Yuna discovering Monster Hunter has just been fantastic. So just playing that with her without any stress of making anything has been the greatest thing.
Yeah.
But I think I'm at a point now where I should be able to not diverge. I'll diverge 2% of my attention. I'll give her 98, and I'll put 2% on videos, because now she gets involved and she finds it fun. And she's like, oh, what are you going to do next? Video. So if she's interested, even better. So, I do plan to cover Sunbreak primarily next year.
Yep.
Other than that, probably I'm just going to keep it up with these Monster Hunter-ish games. So Toukiden 2. I'll go back and try God Eater.
You're going to get addicted to 14, and you're going to be like, yep, I can't play anything else right now. I'm going to have to just play this game.
I mean, if I'm not feeling Toukiden 2, or if I'm not feeling God Eater Resurrection, I still have God Eater 2 to play. And then there's God Eater 3, which I haven't bought, but if it's significantly different from 2, then I'll give it a shot. And we'll see where it takes me. But and everyone's like, oh, you should try Neo. I'm like, I've played Neo, guys, come on. But I have to remember, I'm like, and people are like, wait, why didn't, oh my God, you did a hand reveal on his plushie video. When are we going to get a face reveal? I'm like, did you not watch any of my vlogs? Like, I've been on camera many times. And then someone's like, dude, that was like 6 years ago. I started following you 4 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Time flies. Oh my gosh. Much faster than I thought it did, so. But yeah, this has been a really, I mean, I feel bad for saying this because it's been a really tough year for a lot of people in the world.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate that this year has not been, it could have been worse. It was not that bad for me. I had health issues, but I'm seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm on the road to fixing that, which is good. I got a lot of bonding time with my daughter. We're not social creatures, so we don't go out, so staying at home was easy. And yeah, it was, you know, we had our podcast all year. It was really fun. So
that's your social outlet right there.
Yeah.
That's your social
all things considering, I was lucky, and I feel bad for those who were not on the lucky end. But from a gaming perspective, next year is going to be really fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
So a couple of more things. Monster Hunter Rise was apparently the top downloaded Switch game of 2021.
Nice.
Good job.
However, that doesn't tell. That's great, but it doesn't also tell me that much because just so you know, looking at the download numbers, at least when they published them in the past in Famitsu, Nintendo consoles were only ever about 10% of sales as download. Like no one, I think it's because they resell for really high value. So but
people,
only 10% of sales.
So people buy actually physical stuff. That's right, because Japan has a really good physical market, dude. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer physical media 1,000,000,000% over like digital stuff. But yeah, it's actually
Switch,
hard to get some
as
stuff
of half a year to a year ago, when I last really looked at the numbers closely, Switch was at about 10% on average for almost every game. And then PlayStation 4 at the time was about, it was actually rising. It was at 15, and then it went up to about 20%. And I think on some games it went up to like 30%. It's nowhere near as high as it was in the West, though. The West was like 50% digital or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
But that's great, though. To hear that they're on top, that just shows that it was the right
more
thing
budget
to give.
Every time I see like success on anything Monster, I'm like, that just means more budget. Give them more money
budget
for the next game. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
why
Sony, if they weren't
well.
idiots, would look back and say, "Oh, we have Soul Sacrifice. What a great IP that would actually do really good now." And we could just remaster it and release it and see how it does, and then we could see whether we want to do a sequel. It won't barely cost us any money, but we're not going to do that because there's
instead of that, we're gonna just kill the servers.
Yeah, let's just nuke them because why not? Because we don't want to spend $1 a month.
We need those $5 a year, man. Those $4.99 on that Soul Sacrifice server. We need those back.
God.
Yeah, it's
and
weird.
I'm like looking forward to so many games now because of the last adventures I've had. So like Dragon's Dogma 2, I want that.
Oh yeah, dude.
I don't think that'll come anytime soon. But man, God, do I want that.
And it has to have 4-player co-op. That needs to have 4. Yeah. There's no way that game doesn't have 4-player
and
co-op.
I will cover the shit out of that game as much as I do Monster Hunter. I adore that game. Yeah. Obviously Monster Hunter, all stuff. Now I'm like, hey, is there a Toukiden 3?
I don't know,
it seems like there's not
successful. Yeah, 2 was not very successful. I doubt we'll get a 3.
But 2 also completely changed the formula, right? Like it was different.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So maybe they've got the guts. Maybe I'm hoping Monster Hunter's success in the West is now going to invigorate people who have hunting game concepts to actually make their product, like help them hurdle their greed. I think that would be nice because the more we have, the more ideas, the better for everybody, right?
Yep. But
I heard Dauntless got a bunch of updates, but I'm just not a PC gamer, and I know it's on consoles now, but I've played it, and
it's like
I'm good.
Kegren has actually told me that apparently they're working on something for Dauntless, which can make it like a game changer for me. Like the biggest problem I had with Dauntless was the way they implemented their season pass, because it's a FOMO season pass.
Yeah.
It's like you either do it during this time or you don't do it at all. And it's like, I don't like that kind of pressure. I hate FOMO. I really don't like it. And some people are going to be like, well, the Monster Hunter World events were kind of FOMO, but they came back. That's the thing. They came back, and now they're like cycling through every other week or whatever it is that they're doing. So it's like you always have a chance to get them back. Whereas a lot of these battle pass things, like, no, it's gone forever. And I think I bought like 2 battle passes, which I barely did because the objectives they wanted me to do in the battle pass, I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to go do something else. But this battle pass is kind of like forcing me down this way, and I don't want to do that right now. Like, I can do it later, but I don't want to do it now. And that burned me out of that game like super fast because I was having fun, but I got burned out on the kind of battle pass. And Kegan was telling me that potentially they're looking on a way to like bring back old battle passes, and when you buy a battle pass, you can maybe have it forever. I'm like, okay, if they do that, that is something that I can be like, that Dauntless looking pretty good. But they definitely, if they fix that, their battle pass system, then I might be like, okay, I'm willing to give this another shot. But right now, I also don't want to do Dauntless.
Yeah, I got a back catalog already of stuff I want to play. So
yeah.
Oh, and then Freedom Wars. But I'm a little discouraged hearing that the end game is going to be kind of gimp. But it doesn't mean that I can't try it and enjoy the story. So,
yeah.
I'm going to try it and eventually. I have nothing but PlayStation games, and then I still have Halo, the new one. I only played through 3 chapters so far. I still want to get to the end of that, but that'll be around forever, waiting for me. And so far, it's really good. It's really good.
I haven't even
I'm
touched
enjoying it.
The new Halo, but yeah. Another bit of news that we've gotten was like the top 100 Japanese games of all time, baby.
I hate this shit so much. It's nice. I like these scenes only. There's one good point, which is where like it's kind of nice to see smaller games or more obscure ones get some recognition because it could help their popularity. And I think people were surprised to see that Undertale was like number 17. It was really high up there.
Undertale was really high.
Undertale is very, very loved here in Japan. People really, really love it, and it's the best localization I've ever seen for a video game. It's really well done.
I wasn't aware it was that,
and it
popular
really
in
connects.
Japan, but I know it's a very popular game. It's not really my style of game. Like I've seen the gameplay, I think it's cool, the stuff that they're doing, but it doesn't appeal to me very much personally.
It's one of those I thought it didn't appeal to me until I played it in Japanese, and then it clicked immediately. The English for some reason didn't click for me, but it might have been a mindset thing at the time because that's a thing, you know.
Yeah.
But when Yuna started playing it and we were doing it in Japanese, like it's so, I don't know, there's something about it. It translated over really well and people love it here. And me and her had a great summer just playing that together. And we did the whole Renegade path. We did the save path. We did everything. So that was really fun. But like they pulled, it's a TV station. Okay. So TV Asahi. And like, the moment you say TV station in Japan, my eyes start rolling like really hard in the back of their head. And so who knows what their methodology was, but this reminds me of like political polls. They're like, yes, TV Asahi, yes, because they know how to connect to the actual gamers, right? My ass. They went around, it's like if Fox News did it or something, right? Like we polled 50,000 people. And this is representative of all Japanese gamers. I'm like, it's not. One, have a more accessible, like, I don't know how they did how people were able to participate in this poll. Maybe they were just secret calling people on the phone and seeing who would actually answer. I don't know.
Secret Santa style.
You look at the data and it's obviously really weird. Like the demographic seems really skewed and really bizarre. So I'm like, this is not really like, one, the sample size is not big enough, and two, you needed to have it more accessible so that we have a better range of, you know, like the Game Awards did it, right? Like, so we have young people, older people, like people getting on and voting for it open on the web or something.
You don't want to be talking about the Game Awards, Gaijin. We don't want to talk about that.
Okay. But like, you know what I mean? So like, I look at these lists and I'm like, yeah, every year they do them and they're kind of fun, but it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is not on there. Japanese gamers are crazy. I'm like, this is only a weird slice of 50,000 people. I don't know how they polled.
And it's like, it's weird to me, a lot of the entrants, like Monster Hunter feels exceedingly low on that list because Monster Hunter is like so incredibly
Did you see the original Monster Hunter was on the top 100? I'm like, my ass. My ass. You know what? When that thing sold 200,000 copies when it came out, it was not even that huge of a game. It's clunky as shit. That is not, the concept is great, obviously, and it evolved into a great game. But I'm like, no, PlayStation 2 Monster 2 is not one of the top 100 games of all time. Are you kidding me? No one thinks that here. No one.
It's really weird, and it's like Pokemon Sword and Shield of all things was also extremely high on the list, and I'm like, what are you talking like? Lots of people like heavily criticize Sword and Shield because it did not evolve the formula at all. It's almost like, what are you doing? Like Capcom basically showed Pokemon Company like, listen, not Game Freak. It showed them like, listen, this is how you do that formula. Okay, here you go. Go ahead, copy it. There you go. This is how you do that formula. Monster Hunter Stories too. It's like, what the hell?
My guess is what they did was they either pulled nostalgic 40, 50-year-olds, or and at the same time they pulled really young people who their only Pokemon game they've ever played was Sword and Shield, and they loved it, and they were like, this is the greatest game ever made.
It must have been really young people, because I mean, look, Breath of the Wild is amazing. I love Breath of the Wild. It was my top game of 2017.
That deserves to be way up there, yeah.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the best of all time, but
it's one of the best, yeah.
It's definitely one of the best. I love Breath of the Wild. I know that a lot of people didn't like it because the weapons break, but it's like, you know.
Well, most Japanese creators here quoted as being their favorite game of the decade. I mean, it's beloved.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, in the Golden Joysticks, Dark Souls also won the Best Game of All Time award. I was like, well, what about the future? It's like, no, it's the best game of all time. It actually made me wonder, why are people creating best game of all times lists now, specifically in 2021? It just feels like such a weird
content.
This
Gotta
year,
get those clicks, man.
This year, we're making the best games of all time. I mean, okay. I thought people, people knew that Monster Hunter World is the best game of all time. I guess
these polls are just weird, and I never get into them. They're always like, oh, but the polls say it. The polls don't mean anything. It's about polling method. It's about trying to actually get an accurate slice, which is probably theoretically impossible.
Yeah.
But it's like, ugh. But it's like, it reminds me of like, you know, the world's top 10 expensive cities, and then you look at their testing criteria, and they're like, cost of 10 pounds of caviar. I'm like, what? And like all, you know, private schools for international schools for children. I'm like, nothing that anybody in their daily life. And then they have things like, you know, 1 gallon of milk, $10. I'm like, what? Where the hell did you go? I can go down to the most posh district of Tokyo and I can't find something for even half that price. It's like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's just like stupid. So, yeah. I rolls. I don't know how to have fun, guys. I'm sorry. It's like, but you must have woken up this morning to a fun. What's going on Twitter today? And we were having. It was. I woke up to it as well, and it was. I woke up to being tagged in this string of tweets by Kogath of all people, and Kogath, great friend, tells me, "Hey, maybe Gaijin Hunter can chime in here because Bandino, who was a guest on our show, said, I don't know why variants are born or something like that, whether they're born or they come from eggs. That is all. I think it was just a really funny tweet because it's just pointing out the fun fact that there's a lot of stuff about the Y variants we don't know.
No, listen, let me explain to you guys. I'm going to solve this right now. If Palamutes can come from eggs.
Well, then hunters come from eggs. We never see a hunter get born.
Hunters can come from eggs too.
And the egg has an umbilical cord. That's why we have belly buttons. We're parasites. I don't know. But like, so it started a really funny conversation where I think it went to Yuri, the U.S. community manager. He was like, oh shit, I don't know. And then he passed it over to Jonah, who's the EU community manager. I don't know. They passed it over to Izo, who's someone who worked on the games. And he's like, I don't know. Then Kogath passed it to me. And here I am, like, thinking this is a serious topic. I didn't realize it was a joke because I was just lying in bed. I had woken up. I looked at Twitter and I see my mentions. And at the top is, hey, maybe Adam can help out. You know, and I look at it, I'm like, oh, they want to know about Y variants. So I'm like getting all serious about this. So I'm like whipping out all my encyclopedias, doing the research, seeing if there's any pictures of belly buttons anywhere. then
God.
like, okay, well, in Stories 2, they do have belly buttons in some of the pictures, so that shows that even though it's not a mainline game, that's their way of thinking, blah 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 blah. And then I somewhere near the end of my participation, I realized that this was actually just a shit post joke. It was just for fun. And I was like, oh God, I was taking this serious. So I made a few immature posts at the end just to sort of laugh at myself for being so serious about it, because I thought it was a serious question. And people are like, no, Minato is a platypus. So she's not a platypus.
She's 1,000% a platypus, dude.
Hey, at least this... Hey, good thing came from it. I learned today that there is a mammal that uses eggs, the platypus. I did not know that.
Oh my God, she's a platypus. I saw that post where it's like there's a dude saying, "Oh, this is my favorite community," and then there's just like a drunken dude inside the house that says Monster Hunter, and he comes on and is like, "Wyverians come from eggs." Like,
I just hope the spectators realize that everyone's just having a good fun time randomly, and we can thank Bandino for that one. That was funny, and then no one's actually arguing over the lore of it. I mean, it's just really funny if you think about it. The fact that they kept it ambiguous because they just don't want to commit to anything for the Wyverians. They're like elves,
They come from eggs, dude. They come from eggs, guaranteed.
So how big was the egg for his immenseness? That must have been like humongous. Who the hell can give birth to such an egg?
No. You know the ruined pinnacle?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big thing in the middle, that was his egg.
Oh God.
Anyway, so yeah. I guess one of the...
I was going to say no, Minato was not laid, but then I realized it comes off wrong, so I made a tweet about that just for fun.
Minato was not laid. You're just jealous of... yeah, never mind. Let's not go there.
Yeah, so that was good fun. I love the community for having fun like this.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But so I guess one of the last things that we can talk about is Monster Hunter Rise BC. It's about to get here.
Yeah.
What are your plans? Are you going to play it? Are you going to stream it? What are you doing?
Well, I don't stream.
Yeah.
But would I play? Well,
I'm telling you right now, I'm 1,000% playing it, and I'm probably going to stream it. I can see myself streaming it.
I enjoyed the demo, and the graphics are just insane.
Yes.
And it runs really lightweight, and I love the fact that you can toggle between like widescreen mode and not wide, and it's super well optimized. It looks like it's going to be done well.
Yeah.
And it ran deliciously. But the problem is like, one, I'm trying desperately to catch up to a back catalog of games I want to play.
You and everybody else in the world, buddy.
None of these games play at 60 frames per second, let alone 120.
Yep.
And when you go from 120 frames per second to 30 for the first 2 hours, your brain is like, the hell am I looking at? A flip book? A flip book? But the thing is like after a few hours, your eye starts to fill in the frames, right? Your brain, and all of a sudden you're like, as long as the frame pacing is good, your brain is like, this is smooth as hell. Is this 60 FPS?
Yeah.
And then you look at something 60 FPS, you're like, oh God, and it's not. No, oh my God, it's not.
It's not even close.
But then it's like an optical illusion, because once you look at it and then you look back, then all of a sudden you just screwed up your eyes for another 30 minutes. Yep. The game looks like crap. So it's like, So my eyes are trained right now to really love solid 30 frames per second. So I don't know if I want to jinx that.
You don't want to destroy that? I'm playing it, dude.
Know.
I don't care. I always can go back and forth. It doesn't bother me that much. Like going.
My problem is that I played Rise with Yuna.
Yeah,
and Rise and our characters and our photo libraries and all those memories hold something very special to us both. That we're like, we can't do, even though it is by far the superior version. God, they deserve it because PC players have waited a long time for this.
Yep. Luckily, they're not going to have to wait anymore for Monster Hunter after this.
Thank goodness,
God. Huh? Yeah. Thank God for that.
So we're I don't know. I'll probably play it a little bit, and I'll do like a video of like, okay, I played the demo. Here's my impressions. Here's a little bit more extended gameplay. Yeah. Like I'll play like the game for like 10 hours or something. Get a better grasp of how things look. and play, and then give my impressions, and that's about it.
What weapon are you
I'll
playing?
Run through.
This is the big question. What weapon are you playing? Because now you know how. When we started playing Rise, we had no idea what the weapons were going to be like. Now we know. And so the question would be, if you are starting fresh in Rise, what weapon are you playing?
I mean, I did Switch Axe was my main in Rise when I started.
Yeah, Switch Axe is
that evolved to all the weapons, and I play them all.
I've actually been thinking about like doing a showcase video, like which weapon should you play in Monster Hunter Rise PC, right? With different showcase, but I can only show the melee weapons because I'm not doing ranged stuff. That's crazy.
So I mean that's fine. I play all the weapons in Rise. So well, maybe not Gunlance. I can't say I really play it, but I can play it, and I have played it more than Lance.
You played Gunlance in Rise. What are you talking about? You even made that.
Yeah.
We made the set together and whatnot.
Yeah. And I still use it from time to time. It's fun.
Yeah.
And it's good. So like I don't know. If I just wanted to get through something really fast, I would probably just pick up a Sword and Shield because that's like really my last current main, so to say. But I can't remember if the switch skill for dual blades that allows you to do like the invisible like adept dodge. I can't remember if you have to earn that or not, but that is just it's so good.
The dual blades dodge?
Yeah, it allows you to do like a forward dash, and you can do it right into an attack, and you just evade right through it as if it's like adept style.
I think you start with that. I think.
If so, then I would be very happy. But I don't know. I have no idea. I'm trying to think like what would benefit the most from like the PC specs. But
I don't think anything in particular benefits from the PC specs.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll just do longsword just to piss you off.
It's not gonna piss me off. Like I told you, one of my best friends played longsword the whole time, and I was like, I don't care, whatever, do whatever you want.
I played all the weapons, so I don't know at this point. I've played so many of the weapons that it's just like
because I know exactly what weapon I'm playing, and it's just gonna be to piss off all the people that main that weapon that have been basically bitching about it the whole goddamn expansion, the whole goddamn game. I mean, not expansion.
Charge blade.
Yep. See, I didn't even have to say what it was. I didn't even have to say what it was.
Yep.
I'm playing.
If there's any weapon that got the short end of the stick outside of Gunlance, it's definitely Charge Blade.
I wouldn't say it got the. That's the point that I'm trying to make. I don't think it got the short. I mean, at least compared to Gunlance. Like, look, dude, Gunlance got the real short end of the stick. And here's the thing:
equals. I want to hear your take. I want to see if they're equals or not because they were both a little lackluster.
Even in
not in the fun department, mind you. I'm talking about just like.
But it's like even in its current state, like I would easily play through it again using Gunlance just because it's such a fun weapon. I would easily play through it again with Gunlance. And
see, the thing I don't like about Charge Blade is that you go through all this effort to charge it up, right? And you do all the mechanics only to watch half the hits whiff. When you know you aimed it well,
I'm gonna play it differently. I'm not gonna.
Is there no monster that's long enough where you can get all the damn hits on this thing? That's just what bothers me. But it's a cool one. I like the switch skills a lot. I think they're fun.
I loved Axe Hopper. I think Axe Hopper is incredibly fun, and most people were using the meta choice that is the counter, and I'm like, nah, dude, that's boring. Look at me go into the air, woo, and do like 180s in the air and turn the weapon all the way around, and like slam down. It's great. I loved it. I thought it was really fun. But I have a couple of things that I want to do that are different. But the main reason I'm playing Charge Blade is because, like, if I was playing it just for myself, I'd play Gunlance all over again. I wouldn't care. I was just go Gunlance. Because even though, again, I complain about Gunlance, I think I don't think it has been proven by the community that it is the weakest weapon in Monster Hunter Rise. It's still the most fun moveset in the entire game, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't say every weapon, whether it's strong or weak, they're all still efficient. It's just some are more efficient.
Efficient is a strong word when it comes to describing the Gunlance. That's a very strong word, sir.
What are you talking about? I can pick that up and do. I would go into any of the hunts, even with the Super Apexes with a Gunlance, and I'd feel fine.
Okay, go hunt, what's it called? The Super Allmother then, with Gunlance. Have fun.
Okay. I will do, when we do our eventual videos, I'll do it. I'll do me and we'll do every weapon against that monster when it comes out. We love it.
Yeah, but it's like that's in the twos. I'm talking like you got to solo it. with the gun, Lance. I don't think you're gonna have such a good
done
time.
That. Well, I've done that already. Like
I soloed whatever the spruced up version they launched recently, which is not All Mother's Snarwa. I soloed that with Gunlance, and it's fine, I guess, but it's still
just takes a little time.
It's not even about just taking time. It's just like the setup of it is very frustrating because like whenever you get the openings, you have to do what's the name of it again? Ground splitter. And then ground splitter throws you off position, and you're like, no, I was on top of this ledge, and now I'm in the ground, and everything's ruined. I hate my life. It's like, that's kind of what I feel like.
That's when you just go without the ground splitter sometimes.
And
it's just more efficient that way.
You just do crap damage.
But it's better than no damage.
Yeah, it is better than
overshooting it.
Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right. It's better than nothing.
Yeah. It's actually one of the core things that I've realized is really key in Toukiden Kiwami with the club is there are some massive charge attacks that you can do in that game. You can do a level 9 hammer charge pretty much, which is redonkulous.
The club is like a greatsword, basically, if I remember correctly in that game, right?
It hits like the hunting horn, charges like a hammer, but functions like a great. It's really weird. I love it. It's a mix of different things. But these, like, you can charge it like 1, 2, 3, boom, and you want to hit it with the tip. You don't want to hit it with the center. You want to hit it with the tip. So it's a positioning game. You don't have to. You could just go in there and hit it. It's fine. It's just your attacks will be slower. You get
that game has
by hitting with the tip.
It's got the critical distancing on melee weapons, right?
Yeah, this is cool. So it doesn't change the damage. What it does is if you can hit consecutively with the tip, it starts to make you go faster, so you get like a natural focus, so you can charge your attacks faster, which is great. It's a great reward, but it's not a penalty if you don't do it. It's just you're missing out on a really good buff. Yeah. But the thing is just like if you get that buff, then what you want to do is there's a really close distance move that you hold it like a hammer, and you charge it up to 3 levels, and you do the first attack, and then it goes into the second attack. It's a 3-move hit. And if you charge all of them, you can go all the way up to a level 9 charge, which does like ridiculous amounts of damage. But the thing is that weapon, it's always tempting to try to go for it. But it's most important just to realize, take the hits that you know you can get. If it's just doing the regular 1-2 the golf swing, just do that. It's fine.
It reminds
go for the
me
charges when
bit,
you have the opening.
Reminds me a little bit of like, what was that? Damn it, I lost it. I had something in my mind and I freaking lost it. There was another weapon in another game that I was thinking about where... never mind. It's gone. It's gone.
Okay. But yeah, but the club opens up at late game because once you start getting the ability to really get strong equipment that gives you skills for like having part breaker. And when you break off a part, you get 10 extended seconds of that. Yeah. And the thing is 10 seconds when you break a leg and the monster falls down, that's all the time you need to get that level 9 charge as long as you're hitting right.
Break everything down instantly.
Yeah, you can pretty much break lock some of the enemies. It's hilarious. And they don't even get to go into their second form because you've got them on the ground. It's so fun.
Yeah. That's some good stuff.
But anyway, I got to get my brain back into FF14 mode. Focus on that for tomorrow and see where it goes. And meanwhile, Yuna is like level 70, I think, now in Among Us. And she had just started playing that a few weeks ago.
I didn't even know that game had levels.
Yeah.
It's a damn shame they're not selling 14
She's really good. I'll watch her play. She is really smart.
We need to get Yuna into the Final Fantasy train, dude. It needs to happen. I mean, you have a PC. You two can play together. It's got crossplay.
She doesn't seem interested.
I'm sad.
She was watching me play today. She's like, "Oh, well, I'm really happy that you're enjoying it."
I want.
Then she thought it was cool, but she didn't have a desire to play it.
I want to see what's gonna happen when she walks into your room and you're just like crying because you're playing 14 and you're crying. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you right now, you're going to be crying. She's going to, why are you crying? It's just so sad.
I have a really hard time crying.
Dude.
And I don't want to end this podcast on depressing notes. I'm not a depressive person. I'm an optimistic, happy guy, but I'll just say that I've cried probably 99% of the tears that I can cry for my entire life. They're already out. I've already cried them out. I'm a dry well at this point. I'm a seasoned veteran. There's a few themes though. There are a few themes that can still tug at my heartstrings. Like when I hear that goddamn piano song start to kick in at the end of FF10, when Tidus realizes he's going to disappear, that will take my heart and rip it right out of my chest.
Oh my God. Yeah. If you make it to Endwalker, yeah, you're dead. That's it. Like you better have a bottle of water next to you because you're going to get dehydrated, son. It's that simple.
One of my favorite movies that no one has ever watched, What Dreams May Come, with Robin Williams. That there's a few scenes in that movie that get me every damn time. Choke me up, but no, I'm kind of a well, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see. But guys, we're going to be calling it here for this episode of the Third Fleet Podcast. We both hope you've had fantastic holidays. We're sorry that we didn't have an episode to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, but we hope you've had them anyways. And we wish you a Happy New Year because this is the last podcast of the year. Yep. That was a little bit of a dramatic pause because it's not the last episode ever. Don't fret.
No, for the year. Just the year. So I mean, we'll be enjoying our respective New Years, and I hope you do as well. And you know, if you're in a great position, great. I hope it lasts. If you're not, I hope it changes. Yep. And just try to stay safe as much as you can, and play games as much as you can, and
enjoy yourself.
That makes you happy.
Spend some time with family if you can. That is always important. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. I would say hit the dislike, but that doesn't really matter anymore because people can't see that. But yeah. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong. Stay safe.
And Minoto was not born out of an egg.
No, she's a platypus.